Hello and welcome to today's video with Petra and Raphael.
Hello.
We wanted to share with you today the biggest challenges that we have faced when we stopped working because we didn't have to.
I would like to say only before you start that when you stop working, it is really tough and it's really tough process because you are used to certain things. You are taught this from your parents. You go to school, to kindergarten, all the time, the same schedule. And they don't teach you how to be self-autonomic, how to use your time towards your benefit. They are always teaching you how to serve to others, and you want to serve to others differently, maybe, but still you need to start to use your time and be very conscious of your time. And he is having the points, so really listen to this video. It's very, very good for people who don't work and who want to be entrepreneurs or
So after we quit our jobs, I think what we have both experienced was that we had a lot of nightmares about the jobs. A lot of, or nightmares, just super stressful situations which we've experienced in the day-to-day job. And I think that went on for like 6 months.
Yes.
I was still having dreams.
6 months is the period.
And sometimes I would hear you like breathing much faster, or we bite our teeth.
I used to work in a corporation, and I had to prepare reports every Tuesday until 12 o'clock, and or every Monday, and then I don't even remember anymore, but every Saturday I was kind of okay, and every Sunday I already had nightmares that I'll not make the reports on Monday. And it was insane. And I worked in this environment, and I didn't even pay attention to that until I quit my job. I was really stressed. I was under huge pressure. I couldn't do any mistakes in my reports because we had a very demanding customer who was throwing it into my face all the time on the meetings. And so these things just were brought into life.
And when you stop working and you have those nightmares and you see how they stress you, you realize actually, like, my gosh, it makes no sense for me to have these nightmares. I've stopped working 1 month ago or 3 months ago, and I still have it. My nightmares were my previous job. My last job was a waiter, and it was just normal day-to-day situations where we didn't have enough people and we were super stressed, and
a lot of people were there in the restaurant and so
Yeah.
on. But I call it like up to 6 months. It can be a cleansing time from the previous
detoxification.
life. The body still is running the program, and it still needs to calm down, and you just have to get through this. It's just so much incorporated written into the body that it has to go out, this way, through the dreams at least.
That was really surprising.
Yeah.
Then the next thing that I've experienced was, for me, probably the biggest one was a loss of identity. I was a super confident guy. I was very much grounded in my job. I was working as a waiter, and I loved it. I was having pride working like that, and everybody knew you. And and you meet somebody. What do you do? I'm a waiter. I do this. I work in this restaurant, and so on.
And
it is my identity.
Knew the restaurant and so on.
And it is where I'm from, in Switzerland, and I think many other countries as well. One of the first questions, what's your name and what do you do?
What do you do?
So that was giving me the confidence, I have an answer to this question that you'll get in almost any conversation. And that was my identity. That's what I built upon, my whole self-esteem, my self-worth, my confidence.
And that's what people normally do. Yeah.
And that was just from one day to the other, it was gone. And
because he decided he wanted to leave, of course, they wanted to keep him and so on. And did you want to add something? Because I could say my story.
Yeah, well, for me it was super, super tough, and something that there's still like this craving to have that normal, stable life, just so I can be confident and I can always just answer those questions super
Answer those
easily.
questions. Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, for me, it was the same thing. I worked in corporation, in as a project manager and all kinds of things, and it was tough because I could wear different kinds of clothes, and now I had tons of clothes at home which I didn't have to wear, tons of shoes and handbags and everything. And basically, after my end of my job, I always went for a coffee and bought something nice for me. So I was like 5 years in a row getting rid of stuff, getting it. I was getting rid of stuff all the time. Clothes. I was a slave to the clothes because I had to look good every day, differently dressed, every day different style, and all the time. And I loved it. And at the same time, I thought, oh my gosh, this was such a vicious cycle. I worked for buying more clothes to fill up my closets more, to have more stuff, to just iron more stuff and wash more stuff, to just buy more, and still was like it was just insane. And now I really have those clothes still after 5 years I'm not working. And
Beautiful pieces.
yes, of
Beautiful
course, but
clothes.
I don't even wear it. I don't even feel comfortable in it. I put it on and I'm like, oh my gosh, how could I last one day in it, like working day? And yeah, it has changed very, very much. And yeah, so that was really crazy to just lose this groove and to start to be like in the sweatpants. And during the COVID it started even worse, to be worse in the sweatpants. We all started to live in sweatpants and so on. And very interesting to observe how I was programmed and how I don't know now what to do with that, you know? And how it's sad to see, oh my gosh, okay, from one day to another I left my job and I'm sitting in front of the closet, which I have to drag everywhere. If I'm moving and traveling, I have to drag a lot of clothes, which are not even comfortable. So, enough about clothes, you know. Just
And you were
it's just a-
sad. You were sad many times, right? That you said, oh, you used to really like to dress up, and now you don't have any occasion to do it,
yeah.
and you're sad about it. And
Yeah, it is identity, you know. I was a manager, I was very well known, everybody was like knowing that I do certain kind of job, and they talk to me like equal. And now I go somewhere and I say some lies that, you know, I don't really work and so on, and the people don't get it, and are you able to pay for this or that and so on. And people don't get it, and it's really hard to explain.
that's the third point.
Yeah,
That
that's the third point.
that in the beginning, just until recently, I have been making up stories to people back home. Like, oh yeah, what are you doing actually? You haven't been working for so long. Like, what do you do now? And I just was so stressed about it that I have to make up some kind of story that could satisfy them and that could make me look good in front of them. That it wouldn't make me look like a loser. That I would just say, oh, actually, I don't really work. I don't really do anything.
And then we discussed about it together, and we realized that they are in a program, and when he does give them different answer, or when I give people different answer, they are out of their program, and now they are, oh my gosh, something unknown. Did you hear Raphael is this and that? He has totally, you know,
Something to talk about,
something to talk
especially the
about.
small village that I'm from.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was making me extremely stressed. I was anxious about this. I had panic attacks about this when we were going back home to my family, to my country. I was just so stressed. Like, what shall I tell them? What
Yeah.
shall I tell them? What shall I make up? What
The-
is a believable story?
Yeah.
And I was still like, yeah, we just started that thing online, and it's not really, you know, didn't really get anywhere yet. But I still just made up stuff.
Because you can't say to the people, hey, I'm doing some business, because they will say, oh, you know, you've tried 5 times and you've never made
Exactly.
it.
Yeah.
So first of all, you can't say it to anybody. Second of all, you can't give them correct information, because most of the people will not get it and will not get you, because you are not getting you even. You are drawn to something, your intuition gives you some directions, and you better listen to it, or you can be smashed by social pressure, and that's very crazy.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I am from a place where I could wear sweat, because I used to study in America. I used to go to the movie theaters in sweatpants and so on. And we had a pajama day in school. So we got kind of were comfortable around this. But he couldn't even wear anything first 2 years of our relationship but jeans.
Mm-hmm.
You know? Jeans, very, very tight jeans. Now he switched to sweatpants, for example, and you know, he even couldn't go out of his home without jeans on, because he's from a small Swiss village, and they are all, you know, judging those people.
And almost everybody wears jeans.
Yeah.
But anyways, I wouldn't even go to the baker without jeans.
Like nobody even noticed.
Or without
Everybody has,
styling my hair
Yeah.
a little bit, you know. It's,
but everybody has their own program. Nobody even sees you next to you. They now even see the phone, and then their thoughts and mine and their problems, and then maybe if they have some crazy person next to them, then they see it. You know.
yeah, they might talk about it a little bit, and then they go back to their own lives.
Yeah, because life is, you have nothing really to talk about. So when they gather and they talk about something, then they will talk about somebody who broke their pattern.
Mm-hmm.
It's very
Exactly.
interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it's very, very big social pressure, and person has to be more open and more confident and comfortable in the state they are in, no matter what, you know. It's really tough.
We have
sometimes.
started that lately, or I have started that in the last 6-7 months, that I can just confidently say, hey, actually, you know, we're doing things, but I haven't been working a normal job for this time, and we're comfortable, you know. We just being honest, and just take off all that pressure of me, because it really doesn't matter.
Yeah, and it's really tough because we are kind of like retired, but we are not retired yet in the retirement age. And we are wanting to work, but want to do something meaningful, something what people would really, like what would open their hearts and what would really help to people. And, you know, it's just not the thing, you know. It's better to just go with the flow of the crowd. Right? So that's also a tough one.
And that's the next one, that you lose that flow of the crowd, or that habit of going to work 5
Free
days a week,
weekends.
free weekends, and you meet the same people and you make friends. Actually, I find it's probably the easiest way to make friends at your job.
Yeah, great. That's what we miss, actually.
That's what we really, really miss, that we can just calmly make some friends. Like what can we do? We could go out, we can go to some dance class, we can talk to some people, and we might become friends. But you meet them maybe once a week for an hour, and the people at work, you see them 8 hours a day, 5 days a week.
You can complain about the same boss. You have a energetic bond in there, same vibrational match, and you just go for it, right? You have a friend immediately, because friends are usually made when they have the same enemy or same struggles with some customer or whatever, and then if you have a problem, you always find a friend who has the same problem.
And we now, actually, when we meet some people, we have a chat with them and we see where we get that energetic bond, maybe
Yeah,
where we
yeah,
see some common ground. And in the beginning, you're maybe a little bit careful about saying some things because they might think exactly the opposite of you. But yeah, that is a really big one. You know, just the habit of, you know, you have to get up at this time, and you know you work though during these times also as an excuse. Oh,
Just
actually, I
I
can't come
don't.
to your party. I
Yeah.
have to work.
Yeah, also it's good to, we would love to build a community of people who are bonded with this love, you know, togetherness, to be able to discover about themselves more and grow and just support each other. That's the community which we want to build. That's the friendships which we want to support and also create, because it's really tough to you know, I used to have a neighbor, or 2 days ago I still had a neighbor, and I could complain about something with her, but you catch yourself and you see, okay, this is where we could be friends. You know, this is
Exactly.
exactly the emotional bond where we could be friends. We can complain about something together, but when you are aware of this, it's really hard to not complain and to also just not fall for that cheaply and say, okay, I want a friend, okay, we'll just complain about this and we will be friends. It can be formed differently, more big,
Yes.
and the
How
friendships are
beautiful could that be?
and
Like
better
a
quality.
supportive community of loving people that want the best for one another, that care for one another. That's what we're looking for.
Yeah.
That's what is human.
Exactly. Because we are all basically, when we go for Dr. Joe's Dispenza's retreats, we love those people there because they are exactly those people. You know, they want to grow, they want to give to each other.
They invest in themselves.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, we really love that community.
So we feel good, at least with these people. We know that they really clean their own mess, so to say, and then they really are not tending to gossip and things like that, you know, complain. You know, my aunt comes to me. I love my aunt so much. I totally love her my whole life, but she comes and she tells me all about her ailments, all about the doctors she goes to. I gave her a really beautiful handbag for her birthday. Oh, this one I'm going to wear only to doctors. You know, because people don't have anything to do.
Yeah.
And that's what we are realizing. Hey, what do we actually want to do? Do we really want to do that, or we should do something? That's also a big one. You know, you are having free time. You can get up wherever you want, but you want to get up super early, even earlier than people who work. Then you're stressed that you don't do that. You know, you can be pressuring you anyways.
A lot of guilt.
A lot of guilt, yeah. And so on. And then you actually don't want to go for hikes. You hate hiking, or you know, you don't want to go to ski because it's not your thing, you know, or anything, and you just do it because everybody does it. It's great to just give your lovingly this attention, which can open you up for something totally different, like sitting at home, whatever, right? And the last biggest crazy temptation is social media and internet. We lost there so much time. And you just, you know, we are here in this beautiful nature now, and now we don't have time because we live in a very challenging house which is under reconstruction. So we could observe how our time on the phone decreased. And it's so beneficial. We were so uncomfortable, but actually when you are uncomfortable, you don't feel like being on the social media because, you know, so it's very good to decrease the time.
You can compare it a little bit to
not trade it for your life. Yeah.
You can compare it a little bit to a child that is at home alone for a day because the parents went somewhere and just eats all the sweets and watches the television the whole day because they can. And we kind of got this freedom as well, you know, like we can do whatever we want, and what is the most
like children.
comfortable, what is the most addictive junk food. And
we called it like we study, you know, we study people and we listen to the gurus of things, but no, it's still time on internet.
yes, and this is something which we need to take responsibility ourselves and be conscious about,
And
be strict about.
It's really like you can watch it, you know. When I was a girl, like a teenager, and only thing which I could do is I came home from school. I was so tired from all that information which didn't even make sense to me, which wasn't funny, which didn't make me creative at all. And I also was an athlete, so I was tired after trainings and before training. So I was just looking and I was watching TV, you know, and that's all. We just turn on that box, watching the box. Now,
and then what comes from it, we hijack our dopamine levels, and things like rewarding things like doing sports or cooking and eating healthy or making these videos for YouTube or doing something for your business doesn't become rewarding anymore. You just feel down, you can feel depressed, just nothing makes sense, it's boring, what's this life for? And the only thing you do is just fill that void with more social media, more phone time, more screen time.
Yeah.
And then those dopamine levels totally are,
It's just I want to say, do you want to say something? Because
I can say it later.
Because I'll probably forget it anyways. I realized that when I went to relax and take my time off of everything, and I watched stuff on Instagram, which is crazy. First of all, my eyes were hurting like crazy. And second of all, I didn't relax at all. I felt so exhausted after my time, like when I was 30 minutes on Instagram or an hour, but 30 minutes were maximum because of my eyes were hurting. I didn't even feel that I was relaxed, restored, or anything.
You're not.
It was just, you know, hurting my
You
eyes.
say you want to have time for you and you go away from the other person, but then you're just on the phone and it is not time for you. It's time for others.
And sometimes it's really good and comforting to have the time on social media to not talk about the stuff, to not deal with the issues which you have to deal with, or just to be quiet next to each other and just take a walk or something, because it's boring. For the dopamine center in the brain, it's really boring to look into these screens. It's boring, but at the same time, it's healing.
It's the best thing we can do.
Yeah.
And after that, when that baseline of dopamine is reset, then you will all of a sudden feel like, oh my gosh, let's do something for the business, or let's go for a walk, and you become so joyous about these small things in life.
We'll probably make more videos about this.
Yes,
right?
yes. So these were the things that we have struggled the most with when we stopped working in our normal jobs. And we can also talk about what helped us to get through it and to become better. Share with us what your experience was when you were going through this, and subscribe to this channel. We're happy to see you again.
So you can share with us. We are looking forward, and we will definitely respond on your comments.
And I hope this really helps you, because you can already a little bit know what awaits you, and you know, okay, these things can come up. You're more prepared.
Okay, so have a good one.
Bye.
Bye.